Welcome back to America's Retirement Headquarters, home of the Retirement Guys formula at America's Medicare Associates with Nolan Baker. 419-794-3030 is the phone number. It's 419-794-3030, online at arhq.com. Don't forget, if you missed the first half of the show, previous editions of America's Retirement Headquarters, you want to catch up, it's all there for you on demand to check out wherever you consume your media, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Just search for America's Retirement Headquarters. It's all there for you to check out. Guaranteed income is hot. The most recent numbers from LIMRA show that annuity sales in the second quarter alone soared 26% over last year. But a new survey by J.D. Power found most annuity owners, roughly 60%, actually struggle with understanding the complex nature of the product. So with that in mind, Nolan, and you guys priding yourselves on education, how do you help cut through the clutter?
Cutting through the clutter is extremely important, and understanding an annuity can be very confusing. And I get it, but it can be a great financial tool to utilize in retirement as part of a comprehensive plan. There's kind of two schools of thoughts that are out there. Some think that you should have all of your money in annuities, and some people think that you should have none of your money in annuities. And I think, an annuity can be a tool, and if used correctly, can help provide part of the solution, so it's one piece of a planning process. It's something that, we oftentimes will utilize in the independent income system. So what you want to understand in an annuity is, first, there's three main types of annuity. You would have a fixed annuity, you would have an indexed annuity, and then you would have a variable annuity. So a fixed annuity is a product offered from the insurance companies of America that are going to ultimately pay you a fixed rate of return for a set period of time. And with, decade level high interest rates, what you're able to do is you're able to lock in interest for 2, 3, 5, heck, you could lock in interest for as long as 10 years. The insurance company then would contractually pay you that fixed rate of return. And then at maturity, you'd have an opportunity to either roll it over into new rates, take that money and go somewhere else penalty-free. You then have what's called an index annuity. So an index annuity is an account that's principally protected against market loss, but allows you to participate when an underlying index goes up. The most common one used is the S&P 500 index, but there's a lot of different indexes that are out there today. And the more confusing a product gets, I would say the more often than not is something to steer away from. So you want to understand the product design, understand the ins and outs of how your product works. With the index annuity, if you had an S&P 500 point-to-point cap, they would simply take one starting value. They would look 1 year later. If that index is positive, they typically would pay you 100% of the gain up to what the cap or the maximum return is. The third type is a variable annuity. With a variable annuity, it's one that usually goes up and down within the stock market. So you can get more growth, but you have more risk of loss inside of there. And a lot of times people will use a variable annuity because of income riders. So you could add on an income rider onto an account, and then it could provide either a single or joint life income. So if somebody wanted to lay their head on their pillow at night and know that the value went down to even zero, some of these variable annuities will continue to provide income. The second thing is, some of the benefits of an annuity. So again, an annuity is an insurance product, which means it's a contract with an insurance company from the insurance companies of America. When you're looking at in guarantees, you have to understand that the claims paying ability is based upon the issuing insurance company. So it's good to look at, number one, what is the rating and the financial rating of the company that you're working with. Number two is understand that annuities have additional protections based upon the state that you purchase them in. So the Ohio Life and Guarantee Association has a certain set limit of guarantees here in Ohio, but it's important to understand if a company is insolvent, how do those guarantees work? But the benefit of the annuity is it can provide that predictable income. One of the, I think, number one biggest concerns for a senior and retiree today is outliving their income. And although stocks and bonds are great as far as part of a portfolio, they are not predictable. Stocks can go up and bonds can go down and vice versa. And, with an annuity, you can have more predictable income. You can also have some possible tax advantages. So if you have money that's set aside and, money that you're not going to need, and you think that your tax rates would be lower in the future and you wanted to get compound tax deferred growth, for non-retirement dollars, that can be another benefit. It also, in some of the ones that we were talking about before, like a fixed and or an index annuity, offers that principal protection against loss. So a fixed annuity to me is pretty straightforward. You're going to get a fixed rate of return for a set period of time. With an index annuity, you're going to have protection against loss. With fees, this is an area where I think there's a lot of confusion in the public. People oftentimes will think, well, annuities are very expensive. And that can be true, but it's often not true. There are many no-fee contracts. On the flip end of the scale, though, there are many annuities that are very high fee. So when I think about the low to no fee options, those are going to historically be more of the fixed annuity. They're going to be more of the index annuity. So a fixed or an index annuity oftentimes can be purchased without a fee unless you add some type of rider or benefit onto the account. Where ones that get more of the bad rap, the higher fees, would be more of the variable annuities. Because within a variable annuity, you're going to have the mortality expense ratio, the M&A expense ratio. You're going to have a sub-account cost for the different investments that it's put into. And then you would have a rider cost that's associated with it as well. So variable annuities, in my opinion, are the ones that typically have some of the higher fees that are out there. The next is you have to look at the difference between your goals and objectives of growth versus income. With growth, you're probably going to get more better long-term growth potential, let's say in the stock or mutual fund market, than you would with inside of a fixed or index annuity. And so inflation is something that's important to consider in the long term, and that's why it's not good to have one tool for every single product. In the independent income system, we believe that it's important to have some investments that are designed for growth, but then some investments that are designed for income, why it's important to kind of blend these products together. The last area to pay attention to that is confusing in truly understanding an annuity is what is called surrender charges. And in the insurance companies of America, annuities can range from 3, 5, 7, 10 years. Those are probably the most common. I mean, there's other ones that are out there, but those are probably the most common that are out there. So if you purchased a 5-year annuity, that means if you withdraw over what the free withdrawal is within that time frame, you would pay some type of surrender charges. And oftentimes surrender charges are like wasting money. So you need to make sure that you have enough money for liquidity. Oftentimes when we're working developing an independent income system for a client, we're looking at developing a plan that's designed to last their entire lifetime, not just 5 years.
Right.
So it makes sense that you could have a portion of the money liquid. You can have money set aside for an emergency, and then you can have some money in things that are a little bit more longer term, because there is also what's called a cost to liquidity. The best example that I could give to you is the cost of liquidity is the interest that they pay you at the bank. So, as interests go up, bank rates and, CDs and other fixed products traditionally pay you more. But at the same time, as soon as rates come down, your money market account or your bank savings rate continues to go down right away. So there is that cost of liquidity, and that's why it's important, I think, when you're working with a retirement specialist to develop that independent income system that shows you how to put it all together. If you're a listener and you have an annuity, so if you missed our event that we did on annuities, talking about the pros and cons, you can jump to the front of the line. By calling our office, we can do an annuity review for you and help you get educated so you understand the ins and outs of what you have. And if you have an annuity that's 3, 5, 10, heck, maybe it's 20 years old, there are some incredible opportunities with where interest rates are today that having that annuity review can make sense. Or if you're somebody who's getting ready to retire and you're not familiar with what annuities are and you just want to walk through what that process is and determine if an annuity could be a good fit for your situation, would encourage you to give us a call. We're truly independent. We represent all the insurance companies of America that are out there on the independent space and can help guide you and show you what's available in the marketplace and help educate you about whether that makes sense in your individual situation.
But of course, as he's saying, that can make sense in your situation. It's not right for everybody out there, but certainly we're taking a look at for the benefits that it could provide. But also think of it, going back to the scouting, like a Swiss Army knife. It's gonna. Some of them are going to have some different functions, but maybe using more specialized tools and strategies if that is what the situation is. But you just want to make sure it isn't a one size fits all. It's supposed to take care of everything for you. You want a more comprehensive strategy, which could include an annuity. But again, having that conversation to see how it all works together with that education that the team at America's Retirement Headquarters can provide for you. Just reach out, set up a time, 419-794-3030, or you can go to the website as well, and that's arhq.com.